order for January 24th, 2019, 6:30 p.m. Pastor Terry Hall of the High Springs Church of God is going to give the invocation. If you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you bow with me in prayer? Our gracious Heavenly Father, tonight as we enter into this place and as we are beginning a new year of commission activity on the fiscal cycle, Lord, we ask for your blessing. We ask for your righteousness and your peace and your joy, and we ask for it for each of the commissioners and the staff of the city. We ask for it, O Lord, for those who are affected by their decisions. For righteousness, peace, and joy bring about well-being in the individual and in the community. And Heavenly Father, we recognize that your word tells us it is associated with the tangible presence of the living God. So we invoke that presence upon us tonight. We invoke that presence upon our community, because as we experience the tangible presence, we will also experience righteousness, peace, and joy. And tonight we ask your blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hall. Jenny, could you do the roll call, please?
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor Williams is absent. Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Jameson.
Here.
Commissioner Lavin.
Here.
Thank you. We need to approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for January 24, 2019 City Commission meeting.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda for January 24th, 2019. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Beg your pardon. Approval of minutes for January 10th, 2019.
I'll make a motion that the minutes from January 10th, 2019 be approved as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of January 10th, 2019. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. First item of business is update from City Attorney on Florida retirement for elected officials.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At our last meeting, you might recall we had some discussion about a possible process to set up a membership class for elected officials to be part of FRS. And Jenny did a very good job of laying out what that process was. It includes, it would include the city enacting a couple ordinances. There's a multi-step process. Step one would be to have an ordinance that basically expresses by the commission that they would like to include elected officials as part of FRS. And then step two would be actually designating those elected officials as members of FRS. Went back and did a little bit of research on some of the issues involved here. And basically, I was able to speak with a retirement analyst from FRS and who ran me through sort of some of the legalities from their standpoint on how this would work if this were something that the city were to pursue. So basically, when a city decides to become part of FRS, there's four classes, as I think a lot of people know. There's police, fire, there's this other class, elected officials, and then there's general membership. If you don't, when you sign up for FRS, if you don't set up your elected officials class at that point, then you need to do it by ordinance in this manner. So when you do that, you do the first ordinance that we talked about, then you do the second ordinance. You only have 90 days to do that second ordinance. It's a 90-day window. If you miss that window, then the elected officials would be deemed general members. If you do that ordinance within the 90-day time frame, then you have successfully created your elected officials class. The contributions differ substantially percentage-wise on general membership versus the elected officials. The membership or the member or employee contribution is the same at 3%. That's the same regardless of which class. However, from the employer side, if you're an elected official class, the contribution is 48.7%. If you are only in the general membership, it's 8.25%. Talk to them at length about, is there any possibility of there being some kind of waiver or where the city wouldn't have to make any contribution at all? And I was told that absolutely there's no exceptions when it comes to the elected officials class. And that's sort of, well, not just sort of, that was one of the questions I think raised at our last meeting is there a way to come within some kind of exception? I'm told that there's no way around it. There's other situations that are considered different. For instance, if I think in Mr. Booth's case, he's got a different retirement plan, and he's not an elected official. So he's reported as being a member of FRS. So that's different, though, I'm told by the state in the context of an actual elected official. I'm told there's no way around that. Now, there are municipalities here in Alachua County who have done this. They're at different phases of doing it. Some are caught within the general membership class, and others, we believe, have successfully set up the elected officials class. We know that's not true across the board. So it is something that's been done. I think, for purposes of the discussion tonight, one of the questions is whether the city has an interest in making these contributions on behalf of elected officials. And if that's the case, then we start by filling out an application online. We have to show that the city officials are actually salaried, quote-unquote, employees rather than working, and being reimbursed or stipends or anything like that. It has to be a true salary. And once we do that, they give us all of the state will give us all of the templates we need to put together the ordinances, so we're not reinventing the wheel on that. So that's what I've been able to find out.
So what would be the city contribution?
As an elected official, it would be 48.7%, which is established by statute.
But if you don't do the second ordinance
Right.
and you allow it to go in the other class, it's 8.25%.
It's 8.25%.
And then all of the other class still has to contribute, or the city has to contribute for all of the other class.
That's correct.
Okay. What's the vesting period, do you know? Jenny? You don't?
I think it falls the same as the others. So it
Probably is.
You, I believe, have already been in.
I'm vested, but if someone new was coming on board,
And I believe they can only go into the investment and they can go into the pension. Nobody can go, any new people can only go into the investment plan, which is similar to a 401.
I'm in the investment plan with the school.
But
I'm not in
but-
pension. I'm not in pension.
But you could switch, because you've been in for a long time, right?
You can switch,
You
you can
got
do
one
it,
time,
but
you
I'm
got
saying,
one.
but I'm in the investment when you start talking about
Right.
money going in type of deal. Within this is, I think it's, the pension is like 6 years before you're invested in the
Not
pension.
anymore.
8, okay, so it's actually gone up since, okay.
So
Any
if-
new ones in the investment?
But I don't, Maria, you're not in it, you're not in it, so you guys would have to go into the investment, which would be similar to a 401.
Yeah, that's
And is
exactly-
there a vesting period with that or no?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're-
so,
1 year, yeah, I'm sorry, it is 1 year.
okay, so it would still be worth it for a new person, say there's a new city commissioner, at least it's a vehicle for retirement.
Yeah, it.
Okay.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
One other thing I'm told, I meant to mention is, we should assume that once the city pursues this and you're in, you're in. There's not a process to get out. So it's a commitment, long-term.
What? Once you're in, you're
It-
in?
Once you have created the elected officials class, it's created. And so
Forever. You-
forever. And so
forever.
those
Okay.
contributions will be, part of the budget.
And at the 8%, you're looking at about 4,500 annually. I calculated it out, it's about 45. No,
Oh, is that for all of them?
yeah, for all 5 positions. So I do know, like I said, I have a personal reason for asking this, but I also know as a small business owner, I've owned a business for many, many years, we don't always put money in retirement, and small business owners often are people that step up as commissioners because they have flexibility. And so I know that one of the former commissioners and mayors from Newberry has a retirement because he was a city official. He's not a city official anymore, but I know that's like the only retirement that he got because he was self-employed for years and years and years. So, it just might be a way to attract other people that might not do it because there would be an additional benefit, but I also know that it's not budget neutral as I thought it could be. And for me, because I'm already in the system, it would give creditable years. They base on the old system, the retirement is by creditable years. So every year you get another 1% or 1.5% or something on your retirement for service in the Florida State retirement system.
You're right, it would be an additional benefit for those who decided to go with the Florida retirement system. I would not be interested. And to use it as an incentive. Did the other cities use it as an incentive?
I don't know.
I think the idea is probably unique. I would just simply say, for me personally, I didn't get into this with the idea that there'd be a retirement. I did
Right.
it with the idea that maybe some people out there will vote me in to make decisions. So I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm a believer of term limits across the board. I think you ought to put new people. I don't think you should be a person to come up here and can spend 20 years as a deal and get a deal. So I don't think this is a job. I understand exactly what Nancy's talking about as being the years invested. But the city should not, the city's paying us already. They should,
Right.
my opinion is, they should not have to pay for my retirement. And I simply, myself, I didn't get into this for a retirement type pay. So I would not be for it since there's no way out and you have to pay. I think initially we were talking about where if we didn't have to pay, the employee could put in like a 401k or 403, you could put it in and get the vested years. I think that would have been a viable type deal where the city wasn't, and it was an option. But what you're telling me, there's no option. You're either all in or out type of deal. And I would not be for it for that reason, because of the all in type of thing.
I don't like that part of it either. But once you get started, then there's no way that you can rethink it later and for whatever reason have to come out of it. And two, when we got this job, we realized what the situation was. And I just don't see the point in it either. Not at all.
It's kind of like a part-time job too. How do they figure
It's not a salaried position either.
It is. We get a paycheck.
A full paying job. That's
Yeah,
what I
it's-
should have said.
Right.
That way.
It's
Right.
voted on by the commission as to what the amounts are.
Yes.
So you get if you're in the system, you get 1 year period, no matter how many hours you work or if
Right.
it's part-time or full-time.
Like when I worked part-time for the school board, they still give you a creditable year. They do.
I understand your situation, but I don't think that's an appropriate use of city funds.
City funds.
So, I guess we need to vote on whether or not we even want to proceed with this. So, do I hear a motion to approve or allow the city attorney to set up an ordinance, I guess?
I don't
Right.
think we need, I don't think we need to vote on it. I understand totally, 4,500 hit to the city annually. I understand that. I am okay with that decision. I really think, like Byron has put 16 years on this dais and was self-employed. And, I think that, for future commissioners, it could definitely be something to pay them back for the service that they give, because it's not like we draw huge paychecks. So that's just my opinion, that, someone who gives service to the city, we're not here for the paycheck. That's just my opinion, but I would like it if we could do it on a case-by-case basis versus all in. So I'm good with that answer, and I don't know that you need to vote on it.
Okay. So I guess we just,
What's the
That's
right?
right.
That's it.
No motions
okay.
considered.
All right. We now move to citizen requests and comments for issues not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record and limit comments to 5 minutes.
David Lynch, L-I-N-C-H. I have 2 points that I would like to speak to. The first point is that in the last meeting, Mr. Booth said something like this. This is not an exact quote. It's on 13th Street. Other than that, I don't know where it is. So it seems that Mr. Booth insists on using the old address system. So therefore, I suggest, Mr. Booth, that you start a petition to go back to the old address system, and I would be the first one that would sign it.
And I'll be the second.
My second point is that when you allow alcoholic beverages at the first Friday event, you are supporting and condoning, by the power of the state, something that kills over 1,000 people each week.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Anyone else? Okay, I will close this portion. And we will go to item number 1, discussion and presentation of the Rails to Trails project, and consider indemnificating Alachua County from any future groundwater contamination cleanup.
What they're really asking for in their last meeting that they have is they want to make sure that the council still feels the Rails to Trails is a very important project for the city. And we also support the efforts of the county in getting the railroad, CSX, to indemnify the county from any groundwater contamination.
Got that new word.
That's right, and I can spell it because it's right there.
You're good.
Okay, I'm good.
He's
I can't
used
say
it
the other
a few
one now,
times tonight.
specificity.
Right. And so it's not a resolution that really just says you support the county. And that's all it is. And I know you do a lot of those supporting other organizations, and that's what they're asking.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they would like to see that at their 12th the February meeting.
Do
I
they
think
want us
some of
to
us are.
pass something? Do we want to make a motion? Do we want to make a motion that we support them in continuing forward with that project? Is that something we should do?
Probably something you should do, and then I will take it to the 12th, and the commissioners said that they want to hear from this commission, because we have a vested interest in it, is that I will say that the commission discussed it and feels that this is a very important project, and that we applaud the efforts of indemnifying yourself.
Okay.
All right. I would.
So I can,
Whatever
Do we just need a consensus, or do we need
Yeah.
to vote?
It doesn't matter.
want a motion or
Okay.
a consensus? What do you want?
Well, what I would recommend is if we do a motion, which I don't think is necessary unless the county is absolutely requiring this from us, but if we're going to do that, as far as the indemnification is concerned, I would just caution there that, to me, it's not clear what the indemnification really means, or that it's even just CSX that would be the indemnifying party. So in that regard, any type of motion, I would just say, should be subject to maybe approving in principle, the idea of CSX indemnifying the county, but beyond that, we would need to see some of the legal documents that show exactly how that's supposed to play out.
Well, we probably don't need to bind ourselves to that, then maybe just the consensus that
Right.
we'd
I
like.
think just a consensus.
Well, I think what you got, one of the deals, I think, if what you're saying, and I don't know if I would get that in depth on the letter. I would just simply write a letter, have the mayor sign it, but I would just simply say that we are 100% behind the project, and
Right.
keep it a generic type of letter and not go into it, because I don't think we want to enter into that part.
No.
We're just in favor of it.
It's funny that they
Yeah,
would
and I wasn't going to
want
do a
that.
letter. I was just going to go up there and said, you asked me to ask the council, and they said this is a very important project, and they applaud your efforts of identifying yourself with CSX.
And it will be reflected in the minutes that there's a consensus
Yeah.
among the commissioners.
Right.
Okay.
If you don't need anything, that's the deal. You can say in the minutes, we're for it.
Yeah, that's
There we
it.
go.
That's all they want.
We want them to move forward, absolutely. We want them to move forward
If
with
the
it.
minutes are good and you can write it up in the minutes, so you've got the minutes, or they could, then that's,
Yeah.
Give them a copy.
I think we need to go all.
No, I think if you get too
we don't
much,
need- We don't need to go, we don't need to go beyond what we need to
Right.
do. Because I would agree with Rich on the deal, how the language is written for the indemnification,
right.
I think is important when it comes down to it. We're in favor of the project. Bottom line, we're gonna have to wait to see what that final agreement says.
Right.
Okay,
That's what they're looking for, too.
right, agreed.
So we state for the record what.
That we have a consensus, I believe, all four of us.
Yes.
We have a consensus that we would like for the city manager to say at the Board of County Commissioners that we support this project wholly. Not necessarily going into the indemnification part, but we do, I mean,
Yeah.
as long as it's between CSX and the Board of County Commissioners. Is that all right?
Mhm.
Okay, item 2 is consider reallocating $70,000 public spaces funds to Unique Abilities Playground Project.
Yes, ma'am, we're, there
There
you
he
are.
is. Yeah, he snuck
hiding.
in.
Yeah, I know, he did.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah.
Great.
I just wanted to give an update. So remember we did a grant request for a match, 70,000. Kind of did this out of order, but if we sign the contract later down on the agenda, we save 70,000 because I budgeted 250 for the outdoor restrooms. So I just wanted to see if you guys would be willing to reallocate that money that's already budgeted towards this playground to make the total project cost $200,000 instead of 140. Reason being is that when you do the Unique Abilities Playground, you need to have specific surfacing, and so that was going to be a big chunk of the project anyways. This just allows us to do a little more and make it I would say a complete playground if you have a budget of 200,000 as opposed to 140.
And this is Civic Center
This would be at the sports complex.
behind, okay.
That unique abilities playground is a new buzzword.
Mhm.
And so,
For ADA compliant.
think
I didn't know what it
Robert,
was either when I
qualifies
first
for
saw
that.
it.
Yeah, you just go from ADA to unique because then you
Yeah.
bring in individuals that are on the spectrum as well.
So we're just voting, just take
Yeah.
70,000 over and just.
Yeah, so basically the project would
money's
be
there, We're just.
Yeah.
We're just.
reallocating
What
it.
happens if you go over budget on the Civic Center bathrooms?
That's why I was only going to do 60 instead of 70. As long as we don't go over the Civic Center bathrooms by $10,000, we'll be fine.
Okay,
I don't have a heart attack.
okay, just want to make sure.
Robert?
We won't.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, we won't go over.
No, I know that, it's just that you're not going over.
No.
Okay, that's what I
right.
thought. So what do you,
Right
what do we?
answer.
We need to probably vote to move that over.
So we're just taking this capital money that's Wild Spaces and moving it from the bathrooms to the Unique Abilities Playground.
Yes.
That's it.
Is that the sports complex? Okay. I'll make a motion that we take $70,000 from the bathroom project at the Civic Center to the Unique Abilities Playground at the sports complex.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we reallocate $70,000 Wild Spaces, Public Spaces funds to the Unique Abilities Playground project from the Civic Center bathroom.
We don't have to run that by them, right, county?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion and approval of city manager hiring notification in process. Did somebody want to make a comment? I'm sorry.
I was just asking a question about whether they was going to complete the bathrooms, though, and she answered it for me.
Oh, okay.
Carol, you need to come up here.
We're, the timeline on this is that sometime in the middle of February, we'll put it in the newspaper. We'll go as wide as we can. And then at the end of March is when we expect to get the resumes in. We'll take it to a committee and they'll go through them. And then probably in April, we'll come back to the council and then you'll select who you want to interview. And then all that takes you probably into June, giving the individual 30 days to notify his current employee. That brings us into July. So it's a long process, but you know, in most places, even in Gainesville, they gave 6 months to do the process and put an interim in there. So you're not having to do that because
You're going to be here.
I'll be here.
I would just caution a couple things, just kind of a reminder too, as we go into this process, that to the extent we form a committee, that committee is going to be governed by the sunshine laws. And so we have to make sure we're doing that, and we have our own rules of procedure in terms of newspaper, 2 weeks notice, publishing on the website, all of that stuff.
Right.
So it's just a good time to remind everybody.
Yeah, we're not going to do it in the back door. We're going to do it in the open. And there are 4, and I will tell you that the police chief is one. Sue Weller is the civilian, who is another. Jenny is one, and myself.
When
That's all.
you as a committee meet,
We meet here.
and it has to be publicly notified, I mean, and when you're going through the 100 resumes or whatever, that doesn't need to be public, does it? Public.
Actually, it does, because you're conducting city business.
Right.
Well,
But there probably is going to be very little conversation between us. We're really going to be looking at that in categorizing them, but individuals certainly will be able to watch us.
So do we need to publicize it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
absolutely.
Right?
Okay.
That we want as
You'd have to notice,
transparent as we possibly can, because in the past, there was very little transparency, and we know how that worked out.
well, if you've got the dates and you notice, you got plenty of time to notice when you're gonna review, so it's not
Yes.
that big. And that's what I'm saying, you can
Yeah.
already get
Yeah,
in
but I just didn't know you had to have that portion of it.
Yeah.
city business.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right.
I mean, are there any changes? Now, we did some work, and Jenny did a lot of work. We stole some of the ideas from other cities, as they stole it probably from other cities themselves. We looked at cities our similar size and growing, and we certainly are. And I have to say right now that our population is 6,221.
How do you know?
Oh, because we have
A counter.
Are you knocking on doors?
no,
How do you know?
no, the University of Florida puts it out every year. And so I can tell you that Newberry actually beat us by 20.
Okay.
But we grew by over 200 this year.
Wow.
So we're growing.
Okay. So we don't really need to do anything at this point, just you were
Well,
advising us.
sooner or later, before we put it out, we would like your comments if there are any changes or anything. I mean, we certainly can wait till the next council meeting, and then we would like you to tell us, because this is your process, that what you would like to change. A lot of it is not going to be advertised. The advertisement is going to be fairly small. Everything else is going to be on the website. Because people will go on the website, they'll take a look at it.
So the advertisement is the one-page, half-page sheet, and the
That's
other
right.
thing is what'll be on the
Just
website.
information.
Okay. So can we send that to Jenny then through
can.
through
Right.
email, and then, if we have ideas on
Right.
things
Because
that
we
we
need
might.
Commissioner Williams' input too, since he's not
Right.
here
Right.
tonight. We'd like,
You can, then we can tell you all what you wanted on there, and then you could vote one way or the other, and then we'll advertise.
Do you advertise like in nationally, like?
We
for
are, the
biggest cities?
ICMA
Okay.
is the International City Managers Association. We may do the Armed Forces, Army Times or Armed Forces Times. There's a number of other places.
League of
League of
Cities.
Cities.
League of Cities.
Okay.
We'll go as much as we can. This is really an attractive place right now, and you should get a lot of resumes.
okay. So it stands that we'll send Jenny any input that we have.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you bring us like those dates by that next agenda, set up
Oh,
your
yeah.
dates so you
Mhm.
can do your so you know. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Booth. Next item is consider approval of contract with GBI for the demolition of the existing restroom and the construction of a new ADA compliant restroom at the Civic Center Park.
Yes, ma'am. Since we have the building official here, I might as well. Yeah, I know. It's,
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Commissioners,
Hello.
fire away.
I don't really have questions for him. I've got some red marks on my copy that I think were just date changes that maybe come from your office.
Okay.
Do you know what those are?
Oh,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
yeah,
Did you not get a clean copy then?
I didn't, and so these still have some like dates next to dates, and I'm not sure what those dates are, like the time of completion,
You've got one that's April 18th and then the final completion
April 24th, handwritten.
Right, handwritten. And I assume that was corrected.
They've all been updated.
So,
Okay.
and then we had, there was some
$500 and $250, just
yeah.
some minor
stuff like that,
Okay.
so. But,
It's okay, as long as you guys know it's right, because there were just a couple conflicting things.
oh,
I
you know
didn't-
how I am with attorneys.
I didn't
I watch
see
everything they do. But yeah, I was comfortable with the contract.
Okay,
Mhm.
that was the only thing I had on.
And we've already spoken with Mr. Busby about it, and he's comfortable.
Okay.
He knows
Yeah.
that's what's being voted on tonight.
Yes, we're ready to go.
What's
So,
the timeframe?
actually, we need to have substantial completion by April 18th. And, you know.
By the 18th of what?
You've been involved in stuff like this before. It's a small building, it's a block building, so we're not talking about that long of a construction process.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
April, 18th of April is the drop dead date
Okay.
for Wild Spaces.
24th.
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 I'm sorry, 24th. And I've asked them that because many of the other cities, including Gainesville, is not spending their money, that I would be willing to take all the money that is left over and execute it.
Well, we're looking to be completed really by the 18th, and that's going to give us a little bit of time to get the paperwork shuffled done and you know, have a complete project to turn over to city manager so he can turn it back over to the green space folks.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And they're building the building first and demolishing the other one last.
Yeah, priority is building the building, and you know, it's going to be down, I think I explained to everybody where it's being sited. It's down closer to that one ball field. Actually, the water line's already in. Our public service put it in, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Tomorrow, if this contract's approved, you'll see equipment over there scraping a lot and getting it ready to go. Monday we'll be putting in temporary electric, and while that happens, I'll be issuing permits for the building. And Mr. Busby assures me he's going to get his bonding straightened out Monday, and there's no issue with it. He's just taking that insurance bond he had for the bid and just rolling it into a construction bond. So it's just that process. So by Tuesday, we should be fully under construction. So. I think it's going to be a fairly easy, clean project. I think it'll go pretty well.
One of the nice things with working with local people is you can coordinate all that, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's, as you know, I mean, you're in business here in High Springs, and when you get the same players that you've been dealing with for years, it does make it easier. It really does. So, and I think that the contractor you all selected, and the other ones were good contractors too, don't get me wrong, but these guys have a little bit more of a stake in the city. They do.
Okay, any other
That it?
questions?
So do you need us
Thank you.
to make a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement between the City of High Springs and G. Busby, Inc. for the construction of a new restroom facility at the Civic Center Park as amended with the dates that the attorney corrected, dates and addresses.
And the demolition of the existing restroom.
Okay.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve a contract with GBI for the demolition of the existing restroom and the construction of a new ADA compliant restroom at the Civic Center Park. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. City Attorney update.
I have nothing. If Scott were here, he would have
He
something.
would have something.
Yeah, as much
I like
as
it
we
when you're here,
can. All right. In 2015, we started taking credit cards. That was the first time. I don't know why it took 2 years, but it did. And at that time, we had $337,000 worth of expenses. This year, or 2018, we had $826,500, the amount that we've run through, and that also accounted for $30,000 worth of fees that we collected. And we're going to put that into the city manager's slush fund.
Oh, are you?
That's right. That's the interest, and it goes into the city manager's slush fund. No, okay. All right, that's,
Yeah, you may want to clarify for that for those people listening.
right, that's a no. I know. And he doesn't have a slush fund.
No.
He actually doesn't have any funds. What, all right, so want to talk about the project, and we are to the point where we're starting to pave the roads. And so starting at the middle of February or even towards the end, we're going to start hooking up the houses, probably 10 at a time in a week's time. Or if they bring in another crew, it'll be 20 at a time. And so that'll bring us somewhere to the beginning of June. That project will be over with. The paving should be done in 2 weeks, and the people will be happy because there were a lot of potholes in those roads before, and now they'll have a nice paved road. And the project is going well. We're past the period where they're taking out or destroying some of our water lines, and so we're right now in paving those roads, and David and I probably won't work on Fridays as we have been. I am going to temporarily promote a lieutenant at the fire department to captain. That's a temporary to solve a problem. And that's it.
Commissioner Levin?
So I went down the street in Southside today. I turned on the street and there was this big piece of equipment there. It was like, oh, so you never know when you go around the corner there what you're going to run into. So I'm happy to hear who's paving? It's their contractors?
Their contractors.
Okay, just curious. So these were on the mailboxes in my neighborhood this week. And it's a water testing company. So I called over there and said, hey, what are you testing for? Well, this sweet little girl told me they were going to do a negative and positive test, and she really couldn't tell me much more than that. So I finally got a man that knew a little more, and he said they were going to do a hardness test, which we all know we have hard water in High Springs. And then I said to him, well, what else are you testing for when you send the water expert out? Well, there's no bacteria in city water. We don't have to test that. We're testing for chlorine, for hardness, and chloridamide. So, and I said, oh, so you're a private company that's looking to sell a system. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. So I just wanted that to be out here for the public to know that this is something where they're trying to get a business, you know, and use whatever, the water as a tool. The other thing I'll go over real quickly again is that we have great interest from the Community Land Trust, National Housing Development Corp., and the Alachua County Housing Department in start moving forward with developing those lots over in the Douglas neighborhood to do some affordable housing. And they've been to us already, but they're working with their various boards and going to be coming back, it's likely soon. And the Alachua County Housing gentleman said that they're behind the project and will back it with some down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. So it looks like we've got some real support to start moving towards getting that CRA expansion and some affordable housing in our city. So that will be coming back to us over and over again over the next couple of months. Okay.
Commissioner James?
My turn?
Yes.
All right. On the use of the credit cards, I guess I would like to know what fees are associated with them. And I don't know if I should ask those kind of questions here or should I come in and talk to you? Tell me.
It's fine. We use independent company to do our credit cards because we don't want to store people's credit cards because it puts you in a whole, you have to do a lot of different things. We don't want to be worried about that, but they charge. We actually use the same company that a lot of you guys. They charge 2.5%, 3%. Minimum is $2.
But it's It's not the city.
The city
that's
does not get
it's
it. It goes to the company because they're taking the liability.
Okay, that's for, you don't have to go any further.
But doesn't that help you in a way because people will come in and pay accounts, delinquent accounts?
They had, as you
Yes.
said, the amount of
Yeah. When I got credit cards in my business, it was like amazing
Yeah.
how much
because
people.
you get paid.
Yes, it
and
was.
the bad debt goes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. So I think it's been a good thing.
You know,
Okay, that, I thought that was the company
yes,
fee,
ma'am.
but I had been asked, and I said I'd try and get it clarified,
There are
so you
payments.
clarified it for me.
They're online collections. That's
Gotcha.
the company.
Okay, now the second thing I have is a repeat of what I said at the last meeting, and that is thank you for paving Railroad Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good job. But on the corner,
I think she's going to bring up a point I was going to say.
right,
Yes.
on the corner where Railroad Avenue connects to 202,
Yes, ma'am.
it's a water puddle. All
Yes,
the water
ma'am, it
collects right there.
Right.
And I know you can take care of that
We
for
are
us.
going to
I
take
just
care
know
of
you
that.
can.
Because I also use the new railroad.
Yes.
Very good.
And I actually feel a little guilty because I wonder, did I do this for me?
It's
But
very
no,
nice. I went down it the other night. It's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It is. It's like riding. It's a totally, how you would say,
Boy,
for black and white. Oh my
That's right.
God, what a difference.
That's
And we
right.
sincerely thank you for that. Okay, that's it for me.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that wasn't my question. So we have another question. When I come up to Main Street
Yes.
and look to the left, I have to go way out to make sure there's nothing coming because there's some bushes there.
Yes. I guess we need to talk to Steve Ray.
Did it not bother you? I mean, you go that way all the time. Does it not bother you? Well, see, maybe it's
because-
just me.
No, because
Because I was used to
corner
going
too.
out to 441. You know.
Your nose halfway out.
Absolutely, yes.
Did you?
My corner, on my corner like that,
Right.
on Douglas, it's like that too. You gotta get halfway out in the Railroad
I know.
Avenue before you can see
Right.
what's
You have to
coming,
be
either right
real
or
careful.
left.
Real careful. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can do anything about it.
And we have to announce that tomorrow night, the chamber is having a
Oh, I
banquet.
forgot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, see,
Gloria.
and,
I'm surprised about
I'm sorry, well,
Yeah, we are having our annual banquet tomorrow night at the Women's Center beginning at 6 p.m.
yes.
And we want you all to come out and join us. Tickets are $20, but tomorrow night we are going to be selecting the person that's going to represent the city for 2019 as the new citizen of the year. So come on out and join us.
And the following week would be the first Friday, and we won't meet before that. So whatever that date is, that first,
The first Friday.
the first Friday in February, we'll have the first Friday event. I would assume maybe I didn't get to the meeting, but it's probably themed around Valentine's or love or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or love.
Yeah.
All right.
We are overrated. What? What?
Well, not only I, but Mr. Booth, who normally goes, I substituted for Vice Mayor Williams, who could not make the Florida Alachua County League of Cities meeting. And Gloria was there as well as Nancy. We had a good showing from High Springs.
Yes.
All the way over in Waldo.
Yes.
Some of us had good GPS and some of us didn't.
I went the scenic route.
Yes, you did. They had a very productive meeting. One of the things that came up that I had problems with and finally found a place to do it was disposal of drugs. You can't hardly find a place. I mean, you can't take them to the pharmacies or they'll charge you or something. I don't know. But at the Levita Brown waste disposal, they will take drugs along with the needles that I have to use for my dog every day. So that may be something they were talking about. Maybe some place closer could be made available to do that. I don't know, but I thought it was something worth considering at some point because we don't want them in our water system. I mean, down the drain we don't want them, or down the toilet we don't want them either, because then it gets into the aquifer. And they said that they are already seeing signs of that.
I'll discuss it with the chief. maybe CBS here will do the same.
CVS doesn't have one here. I've
No.
checked
No,
with
but
them.
we'll talk to them about it.
Because they
That's
were the ones
wonderful.
that told me to flush it down the toilet.
Yes, you said that, yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
Yeah.
And they, we've got the MTO straightened, I think. at this
Yes, we
point.
got that squared away. And what he told me, he says if the county commissioners are involved, he said don't worry about going.
Oh, okay.
Only go when it's specifically designated at MTPO.
Okay.
So I says, okay. So
Okay.
I'm glad you clarified that for me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
That was good.
So we had a very good, and the best barbecue, and the
Yeah.
best desserts. I tell you, y'all need to show up to this meeting. And other than thank everyone who's attending the meeting, we appreciate it, and that's all I have.
Then I make a motion that we adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, good.
Do you have something you want to say away?
That's whole packet.
Okay.